We feel very strongly that we're in some very uncertain times. So actually, how do we communicate new narratives? How do we make those narratives really meaningful in a really positive way? And so that's something that we feel very strongly about.
Hello and welcome to the final episode in our mini-series for RCA 2024. It's called Dean's Downloads, and we're chatting with the deans of the 4 schools of the Royal College of Art about what we should expect from their school for RCA 2024, which is the postgraduate exhibitions and events and activities that our students are doing. They're taking place across this summer in London. Today we're catching up with Kerry Curtis. She is the Dean of the School of Communication. That's a school that's made up of really talented and a really vibrant community. And they're studying on programmes including the MA in Information Experience Design, Digital Direction, Visual Communication, Animation, and also on our MFA in Communication, which is a new programme for the college this year. So we're excited to see what they have in store for us. They're a cohort who responds to very current global challenges and they're really skilled storytellers. They bring together these stories, they really bring them alive through a broad and varied range of mediums. And so these are things like animation, data visualization, game design, graphic design, illustration, photography, moving image, also through things like XR, AI, generative systems, these kind of technologies that are rapidly changing and developing all the time. They really immerse their audiences in their creations and the worlds. So with all of that in mind, let's get on with the chat and speak to Kerry about what they have planned for RCA 2024. So, hi Kerry, thank you so much for joining me today. And it's really great to be able to catch up in what I know is a very busy and hectic time within the whole college for everybody, staff and students. So the countdown is now on for the Festival of Communication. How are things feeling in the school?
Yeah, it's very, very exciting at the moment. The students are busy. The academic team are running around. The administrators look slightly stressed, but that's fine. You know, this is a really exciting, exhilarating time that has so much to do to kind of get this launched and off the ground. But it's so exciting. We're really looking forward to it.
The school this year has a little bit of a different setup. For RCA 2024. I wonder if you could tell us a bit about what to expect from the school.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are exhibiting and holding events and holding presentations and just a wide range of activities within the Garden House building, which is on the White City campus. But in addition to using the Garden House space, we're also using surrounding areas of White City. So we've developed some great partnerships and collaborations with White City Place. We've got work showing at the Television Centre just down the road. And we also have an RCA partnership with Outernet, which is on Tottenham Court Road. So some of the work would be there as well for the Digital Direction programme.
So some of those elements are like kind of new for this year. What does that give the students, these kind of partnerships and with the local community?
Yeah, absolutely. So as students in School of Communication don't always make work that is around exhibiting in a kind of art gallery style setting. Some do and some don't. Lots of the work that's made is around really communicating the student's practice, which opens a dialogue, a conversation with others, or creates experiences. So by working not just in a kind of white gallery space, i.e. Some of the spaces in Garden House, but externally means we can kind of showcase work in moving image, in some of the big screens around the area, or students might put installations into spaces that you might not expect. So there's a range, and like working outside of a building means that we can connect much more, not just to the audience we invite, but audience that stumble across the work as they move through those spaces and the surrounding areas.
Yeah, it's a really exciting way for kind of new audiences to be introduced to like work that they might never come across before, I suppose. The students in the school, I know that they're really good at looking at global issues and finding kind of interesting ways to present or talk about those issues. I wonder if you could tell us about any of the themes or concepts that students have been working with for this year's exhibition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our students are generally incredible storytellers. They build these amazing narratives to get people to kind of be challenged in their thinking, to support people's views, to expose kind of diverse, unheard voices, and all those kind of things. And so, throughout all of the programs in the School of Communication, there's a kind of sense of sharing, communicating, open conversation and dialogues. But there's themes in different programs in different ways as well. So in animation, the ideas are really eclectic and they reflect the sense that there's incredible diversity in all of our programs, but definitely in animation. And they look at those kind of experiences, the cultures, the backgrounds. And through that, there are themes that are common across most of the students in that group. And they're about this kind of virtual, being present in actual spaces, being theatrical, looking at the cosmic and how space permeates work as well. So animation has got this really eclectic kind of feel to it. On our digital direction program, the students work collaboratively very often, and they've centered a title to work to, and it's around now, gather, and change. And each of the piece raises an urgent question, and they're exploring 4 different areas in 4 major contexts. So Earth, humans, technosphere, and legacies. And they're looking to celebrate immersive art and storytelling that welcomes everyone. That's really key, how we welcome everyone together to realize and rethink and define issues of what it is now, this moment, and to collectively imagine a more radiant and respectful future. It's got a really nice kind of feel about, being in the now, but also kind of moving forward. On our information experience design program, which people might hear referred to as IED, they're looking to demonstrate how you recenter communication and interaction for experimental practice. So they're looking to connect interpersonally, but also intermachine and interspecies through universal and intimate paradigms. And these processes are progressive, and you get performative behaviors of humans, matter, AI, virtual entities, and they have an influence on the perception of reality, identity, and memory, and also looks at the state of marginalized communities. So those students quite often make these kind of installation sculptural pieces that you really kind of delve into and explore. And on our visual communication program, there's definitely a huge amount of conversational practice. The students invite the audience to speak to them, and they want to share their journey as a student, their journey as a communication practitioner. They would be talking to them and showing work that talks about learning and unlearning and relearning. It challenges how we contaminate and cross-pollinate. And they would take us on a journey to discover who they are and let us kind of work together, like themselves and the audiences, to fill the blank spaces, to uncover kind of the next realities, I suppose. And then finally, we've got a new program for this year, which is the new MFA Communication. And it's interdisciplinary, and it challenges our students to expand the boundaries of communication. And every student's taken a really unique journey towards that independent research project. They're informed by questions, ideas, conversations across the discipline boundaries. So their work shares common themes around storytelling, world building, and sustainability.
Great. I know that some of the students are also kind of hosting events. Are there any of those that you could share with us?
Yeah, so our students have a wide range of events, and the schedule is still kind of building, so I can't reveal anything too much yet. But for example, if I kind of think back to last year, there'll be moments where students will host workshops, or a student might do a performance, or students might get the audience to kind of sit down and engage in a piece of practice with them. So they might be around drawing or storytelling. So there's a variety of different activities. In addition to that kind of physical activation, like performance in events, etc., lots of our students also work in immersive and XR spaces. So there'll be moments to use augmented reality, delve into someone's story using VR. So there'll be a whole load of different activities that take you kind of in and out of virtual and present spaces.
So this is your 4th of the end of year showcases at the RCA. Is there anything that really excites you about these moments?
They were always exciting. They're always new and different. But it's really when you actually go to the events and you spend time at them, you feel the work come through. You get to hear the stories. You get to hear about the journey a student's taken before they came to the RCA and how they have transformed during their time at the RCA. And so it's really exciting because you get this sense of what next. The students have been asking, what if, how am I? And now you get to that point of, so what next? Where's it going? Where are you taking this? And it's just so exciting. I always have this very kind of proud moment. There's this sense of being in this very exciting space and with the students as they're progressing to graduation.
What kind of things do you hope that visitors might take away from the experience of going to see the show?
I think with, especially in School of Communication, there are practices that are kind of new and maybe slightly unknown to others. So it's kind of the bits that people take away is actually that kind of, I can have a creative practice and understanding, I don't know, working with local communities. My practice could be about actually working in collaboration with a range of different kinds of people and being there not kind of to deliver a project to other people, but to actually work with people and learn from each other. And I think sometimes when people come, the audience comes to the show and the exhibitions and the events, they get taken on that kind of sense of learning themselves about different kinds of practices that you can undertake through communication. Sometimes it might be, a typography, or it could be, by viewing animation, but it could be much more about being part of a workshop and seeing how people react and work with each other in a way that could be very positive for society, that could be very positive in the way we think about contributing to climate change issues, etc., etc. So the things I'd like people to take away was, I want them to enjoy it, like visually and through audio. You can have these amazing experiences. So I hope they enjoy, but also that kind of moment of learning something new or being inspired, wanting to take something away, wanting to take something forward.
Absolutely. I often think as well with these kind of programs, people might hear the title of a program but mightn't really know what that means, or it's quite hard to a lot of the ideas are quite conceptual and things like that, and then kind of experiencing the show is such an incredible way to, I don't know, you just discover so much, I think. Looking at the students' side then, what is it that you would want students to take away from being involved in the RCA 2024 show?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's still an incredible learning space. Putting on any kind of event, exhibition, showcasing, performance, however you approach it, it's a significant amount of learning. And even if you've done it before, even if you've been a curator, even if you've already practiced as an artist or designer, coming together in that kind of space where you are working within parameters and boundaries, you are working collaboratively, respectfully with others, it's a really incredible professional skill to take away. So you've got that kind of learning moment going on. But also you have additional opportunities and learning moments from being with an audience. And as I said earlier, that audience might be from industry. That might be from people that already are very connected to art and design practices, to different ways of communicating. But they actually might be an audience that have just, kind of thought, I'll go and see this. This is my local area. So for our students, there is such a huge amount of value in seeing these young people, old people, lots of different kinds of people coming into their spaces from industry or non-specialist people coming in and seeing their work and having that conversation, because it takes you forward in your own practice. Having a conversation with someone that you didn't expect to have a conversation with can change what you do in the future. And I think that's the key thing. It's being in those spaces, learning from how you've put the work on, how you've worked with your peers, how you work with academics, etc., across the RCA, but then what you learn when you're in those spaces with other people.
Have you seen with any of your graduates that they've kind of had these experiences, or they've gone on to really use the work that they presented at their exhibition and kind of brought that into their careers and it's ended up in something amazing?
Yeah, I mean, that happens all the time. And I think that's our students go on to have really, really incredible careers. And I was thinking about this earlier And I was thinking about, okay, what could I give with some concrete, what would the concrete examples be, to answer a question like that? And thinking through, there's loads of different examples. But last year, after RCA 2023, 3 of our digital direction graduates were awarded a collaborative, immersive experience residency at Frameless. And Frameless is a large permanent multisensory experience in the UK. So it's in London. It's this incredible immersive space. And digital direction program has a huge focus on collaborative student work. So this is really interesting. There's collaborations, and then the students go and collaborate again through an opportunity that came out of their exhibition last year, 2023. So at Frameless, Alessia, Shawali and Tao, they created a thought-provoking 3-part audio-visual experience at Frameless, and they explored the concept of transformation, change and evolution in our fragile world. And that came from their show, for example, and their learning as students. Thinking back a year before that, one of our animation graduates, Mary Martins, was awarded the Cultural Institute of Radical Contemporary Arts winner. And it was a Circa by Dazed award. And it was the class of 2022. And her animated documentary called Something More, explored the impact of youth knife crime in London. So that work that she produced, that she exhibited during her show, was then actually shown right in the middle of central London, Piccadilly Circus, on a massive screen, and she won this incredible award. So from the exhibition and events, you do get these opportunities to take the work outside and kind of, become part of those awards or be featured in press articles, magazines, et cetera, actually from that time of presenting your work.
Are there any unique opportunities that the school provides that set it apart from kind of other similar style of, digital or communications schools?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It's a really interesting one, and one we, explore in depth. And we've approached it like this. We really engage in conversational creative practices and research. And we make sure always that the work is culturally informed and historically aware. So you come from this really strong base, that the work should encourage dialogue. Whichever practice we do in the school should encourage dialogue, but also equitable and sustainable ways of being. And I've already mentioned this, but our students create work that contribute to social, environmental and cultural concerns. And we feel very strongly that we're in some very uncertain times. So actually, how do we communicate new narratives? How do we make those narratives really meaningful in a really positive way? And so that's something that we feel very strongly about. We have another aspect to our work as well, is that a significant proportion of the students' work positions itself at a technological forefront. And it asks lots of questions around how recent advances, for example, conversion technologies, multiple platform technologies, paired that with the traditions of being immersive, like performance, engagement in lots of different ways. How can those technologies, that immersion, form ethical connections between individuals, communities, and organizations, so that we have this really intersectional approach, really, really strongly kind of grounded in ethics and being equitable.
I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about how the college supports and nurtures the creative talents of its students. I know you spoke about how, the students go on to do these incredible collaborations and things, and the college plays a part in that, I suppose, in some cases. And I just wonder if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So our program teams really deeply care for the students. They're really committed to art and design education and the value of that. And the program teams, which include the academics, but also the administrators and then other professional services like the technicians, for example, have a real deep commitment to being there to support the students in their journey. The academics are practitioners or researchers, and they are always looking to deliver something that's very rigorous, that the teaching is underpinned by research or a practice, and that the projects that they write and the curriculum that develop is built on knowledge and opportunities that comes through understanding the industry and working with industry partners as well. So we have lots of different opportunities to work with partners, and we're always bringing in like these kind of key keynote speakers and guest lecturers, and developing new partnerships, especially at the moment with different technology companies. And it's that kind of sense of building a framework, a network that's bigger than just the school or the RCA, that really supports those creative talents. It gives our students the opportunity to connect like internally across the RCA, and then also externally into the creative industries or local communities in different ways.
Thank you so much, Kerry. Thanks for this chat, and I'm looking forward to seeing the show.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the RCA 2024 Dean's Downloads, a mini-series as part of the Royal College of Art podcast. RCA 2024 runs from the 20th of June to the 4th of August across a selection of London locations. Find other episodes in this series as well as details of RCA 2024 in the show notes. Learn more about our programmes at rca.ac.uk, as well as finding news and events relating to the college and our application portal if you're interested in studying at the RCA. You can learn more about our programmes at rca.ac.uk, as well as finding news and events relating to the college and our application portal if you're interested in studying at the RCA.